40 years, and I retired about 6 years ago, and I always have donated money to Canine Assistants.
Oh.
So once I retired, I decided that I wanted to volunteer there. So right after I retired 6 years ago, I went to the classes. You have to go through 2 or 3 weeks of lectures and training to be able to work with a service dog, but I knew I always wanted to do that. But anyway, how many people have heard of Canine Assistants? Most everybody. I'm sure you see them around, and if you live up north in Milton, of course this is Alpharetta. Well, this is Roswell, I guess. No. Where am I? Roswell, Alpharetta? I can't ever remember where I am.
Oh, you're Roswell, I think.
I think it is Roswell right here. But you see our dogs out all the time. We've got 18 acres up there, and generally at any one time we've got over 100 dogs up there. There are about 120 up there right now. And most of them are born up at Canine Assistants. And I work with them even when they're like 1 day old, even before their eyes are open and so forth. We work with them and sort of the nursery duty. We have 3 shifts. I'll start when they're young and tell you all about the place. But when they're young, what we have to do is weigh them every morning. We have 3 shifts of workers a day to go in and work with the puppies. But we weigh them every morning because when a dog's first born and they start losing a little bit of weight, you've got to really watch out because it's not good. Even if they gain just a ½ an ounce, that's good. So we weigh them every day, and generally they stay with the mama 3 or 4 weeks. We start them on soft food, and then we take the mama away after 4 or 5 weeks. And the training begins then. We'll even carry them to Kroger's and supermarkets in a little cloth thing, not let them walk the court, but we'll carry them in there maybe for just a few minutes. You can't carry a young puppy in a place outside very long because they'll use the bathroom all over the place.
Yeah.
Obviously. And even a big one, you've got to watch it sometimes. But that's the start of the training. And we'll have them do things like teach them how to go up steps and all that kind of thing. The training will continue along, and as they grow up, when they're a few months old, we have volunteers there. There are about 200 people like me, probably 100 or so active, I guess. Like any organization, all of the volunteers aren't active. And some go up there all the time, and some maybe once or twice a week or 3 or 4 times a month. I mean, that's my case because I work a lot at the City of Milton, quite honestly. But in taking them out, what do we do with them? We want them to get used to being out in the public because someday they're going to be given to a recipient.
Right.
So we want them to be accustomed to seeing all kinds of things, hoping nothing frightens them, that kind of thing. But we carry them to North Point Mall, Walmart, on the MARTA train. Sometimes they fly on airplanes, and they can fly on airplanes with you in the passenger seat. They'll just scoot under the seat in front of you. We do that too. But anyway, as I said, Canine Assistants is 18 acres. We've got 100 dogs at any one time. It's been up there for about 25 years now. We've placed about 1,500 dogs, and by placed what I mean is these dogs are raised for one purpose, or primarily one purpose, let me say that, and that's to be able to give them to a person with special needs. And those special needs can range from maybe muscular dystrophy, epilepsy. It could be brain injury. It could be that kind of thing. But any type of special needs. And in terms of the range and age, it could be anywhere from about 8 or 9 years old. And they're placed with older adults, sometimes 50, 60. So that's the way they are. This is Flora. Sorry. We name the dogs in themes. I can't think of her theme, but we have so many, and none of them have the same name, all these hundreds and thousands of dollars. But we'll have like what we'll call the holiday theme, or the motel theme, and the dog's named Holiday, Sheridan, Marriott, that kind of thing. We have a Grey's Anatomy theme. We have a cartoon theme. We had a beach theme, but that's the way they're named. I can't think of Flora's theme. It must be a flowers Flora.
Is this Flora?
Yeah.
This is Flora, yeah. Flora is a girl. Flora is a girl. I'm probably jumping around a little bit. But some of the other programs we do when they're being trained, one of the things I do, I go to North Fulton Hospital every Wednesday or so. There are 3 or 4 that rotate. And what we do, we go to the rehabilitation unit at North Fulton Hospital. And there'll be people up there, they might be recovering from strokes.
Or brain injury.
Or a brain injury, or a car accident, and things like that. So some of them might be trying to get movement back in their hands, or just standing up, or just petting a dog. So we'll go up there and work with them. I was up there, what is today, Friday? I was there Wednesday and worked with 8 or 10 people, some of which couldn't stand hardly, but they could pet the dog. You know, petting a dog is soothing. Anybody that is a dog lover knows just having a dog with you is soothing. It's companionship and all that kind of stuff. But also, if they're trying to get some range of motion back to throw, we'll have them throw and that kind of thing. So part of that training is up there. Generally, and y'all can ask me questions anytime you want to. Fine, whatever. Generally, the dogs are trained until they're about 1.5 years old. She is close. She's a little over a year old, so she's getting pretty close to being trained. But once they are trained, they're ready to go to a particular individual, perhaps. Now, they've been placed all over the United States. I think they say that in the 48 of the 50 states. There's still 50 states in control.
No. But they go all over the country.
Yeah, they're all long time. There were only 48 when we could probably. But in any event, so who gets a service dog? People that think they have a need for a service dog, they apply online. We got a website like everybody else does in the country now. But they would apply that they have a need for a service dog, and one of the employees at Canine Assistants will go out and interview them in advance, not taking the dog in, just to see if we think we can provide that need that they have. So they do the interview process, and the weeks and months go by, and once it's decided that they can have a service dog, they come into our camp up at Milton. Generally, you'll have 10 or 12 people that are going to get a dog. Will come in for a 2-week period, and we might have 20 or so dogs ready for these 12 people. Let's just say that. So the first day of camp, the people are meeting the dogs and that kind of thing, and we want to see which dog will match which particular person. And generally, we like to say the dog will pick the person. They'll work with them a few hours a day or so, and as they move around and work with different dogs, they'll match. It just sort of automatically works out that way. But once they're matched, probably on the second day of the 2-week camp, they then start working with the dog. What are their particular needs? If you have a person perhaps in a wheelchair, let's say that, and they might need a dog that's, well, they're all calm, but they might need a dog that's more calm than the others, that can pick up things, like if the remote falls on the floor, they can pick it up and help them in that manner. It might be people or a young child that has difficulty walking, and they might need a dog for stability purposes to walk and that kind of thing. But once this matching takes place, about the 2nd or 3rd day, the dog goes back to the motel with them to see how it all works out. So they've got a dog there sleeping with them the first night. So they continue training for this 2-week period. And after that's over, they fly away or drive away with a dog all of a sudden. Nobody has to pay for one of these dogs. They're free. But it costs about $20,000 to train them.
Wow.
That 1.5 years or so. I mean, you've got time devoted to it. You've got feed. You've got all kind of stuff devoted to it. So if anybody wants to give me $20,000, I'll sell some right now. But it takes a lot of effort to train one of these dogs.
Wow.
What kind of training do we do? Generally, there are about 85 or 90 commands we run them through. Things like, obviously, sit, up, down, that kind of thing. but also they learn to turn lights on and off. And what we do is put little, maybe tape extenders on a light switch, and they can reach up their paw and turn it on and off, that kind of thing. And they're trying other things like retrieving and that type thing. But you know, a lot of times when I go out and do these presentations, there are people that say, well, can you have them do tricks? Well, they don't do tricks.
They don't do tricks.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of it.
They don't do tricks.
They don't do tricks. And people sometimes get the dog, they think the dog's going to take care of themselves. They don't take care of themselves either. Everybody's got a dog knows that.
Where's the funding come from? $20,000.
Yeah, well, on the pack you can see Delta Airlines is on there and Milkbone too. But Delta Airlines gives us a lot of money. It's a 501c3 corporation, and donations is how it is funded.
Wayne, a question I want
Sure,
to ask
sure.
you, because we, in this support group I run, we have had over the years we had Donnie Winokur. Donnie is a mother of a young boy she adopted with her husband Harvey from Russia, and he has fetal alcohol syndrome disorder. Fetal alcohol syndrome disorder is interesting. Mom's drinking during pregnancy.
Yep.
The dog, I met the dog Chancer at the dog park, Lita Thompson. Chancer was about 120 pounds. I have never seen a golden so chill. I had a yellow lab that I picked up in 2002. He was trained and he was bred for temperament. So he was what we call the serotonin Zoloft dog. I'm a survivor of a traumatic brain injury. I had issues early on with neurobehavior. I used to be a patient across the street at Restore when they were in Sandy Springs. Mm-hmm. So I understand the brain, I understand the chemicals in the brain, and I'm a Navy veteran. I counsel our veterans coming back from Afghanistan.
I'm an Army veteran.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. And our Iraqi veterans. Over the years, I've gone to the VA and I've seen the prosthesis in our veterans and the traumatic brain injury and the PTSD, and I've seen more Goldens than I cared to. I mean, yeah. I love Goldens. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, I've been involved with them. I've seen Goldens. Shepherd Center, I'm on the board there. I'm on the advisory board there. I see, as you know, Wayne, you're talking, you're right. North Fulton, it's great that you're gone, but my question to you now goes like this. Do any of these dogs get trained for smell? And I say this because Carol Saucy, she's a TBI survivor from 1981. She has epilepsy as a result of her TBI. Seizure activity happens in the temporal lobe. I've seen that some of these Goldens have a knack of sensing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you get water or Diet Coke. Diet Coke or water.
For the dog?
No, for me.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
You mentioned epilepsy. 2 or 3 years ago, we started doing a lot of studies, and some of our dogs are placed with people that suffer from epilepsy. And studies have proven, and this doesn't work every time, but the dog and the caretaker, the dog and the recipient become so familiar with each other that they learn through smell when an epilepsy seizure is oncoming, and maybe they can give 10 or 15 minutes warning. So those studies have been going well, and we've placed a lot of dogs in that regard. Just a glass of water, Mark's okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. So were you with me there, Mark? We are replacing them for people with epilepsy. We're having very good results. You mentioned children's health care. We have 6 dogs that are at children's health care on a permanent basis. They're there all the time.
This is mine if you want to take a trip. I hadn't backwashed or anything.
Okay.
That's important, though.
No, I'm going to leave.
I don't know.
I would have find a glass of beef over there.
No, my voice will go away.
I didn't think
My voice will go away if I don't. But also, we're starting to place dogs in the state of Texas, and I don't know what the hospital's name is, but it's like Children's Healthcare in Dallas. We've placed 4 or 5 dogs out there, and we've begun to place dogs in Kansas City, Missouri, too. So not only are they given to individuals, they're provided to hospitals for that. And what does a dog do at Children's Health? And I don't know if one is placed at Shepherd's, but they do go to Shepherd's.
Good,
Have you
good.
seen them there?
Yeah, I've seen them. In fact, I'll show you a picture right here. This is a
Was Molly
picture.
Welch ever part of this group?
Yeah, Molly Welch was.
This is a picture.
I know Molly Welch.
Yeah, I'll have to talk about her.
Oh, this is great.
This is a picture of a dog at Shepherd.
Yeah.
And we, at Shepherd, I'm part of the SHARE program. SHARE program at Shepherd reaches out to our OEF operation during the freedom and Operation Iraq survivors. With
Right near the edge of it.
TBI, so we have a lot of dogs.
Yeah. And some of ours have been placed with soldiers with PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
Not that many, but some, and so forth.
What about smelling for cancer? I mean, I hear that that's something.
I don't know that we're doing that, but I'm reading about that, and I hear that too. That's what I do. Charles asked about smell cancer, and in particular breast cancer I've read about that dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you know about it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And they smell it?
Uh-huh.
All
That's
right.
exactly right.
The other thing I want to add, Wayne, my
Wow.
son is diabetic. He's type 1. Type 1, I have to educate people. The difference between type 1 and type 2 is type 1 is insulin dependent, and the pancreas does not.
Shots.
Yeah, but the pancreas doesn't work. You could go in there, remove the pancreas, throw it out, doesn't matter. Type 2, your A1C is off, okay? And your A1C is your blood sugar measured in 90 days. So here's the story. The service dog can sense and smell seizure activity and the temporal lobe. They can sense and smell blood sugar. My master is getting a low sugar. My dad is diabetic. We almost lost him several times. We'll see him next week. He had a dog. He had a Labradoodle. And Shadow used to bark and just bark and cry and bark and cry when the old man either fell or the old man's sugar went by way of like 50.
Yeah.
So the dog saved his life a few times.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's not even so. And I can see the temperament in your dog right there is just amazing.
Yeah. Our dogs. This is not a full golden. They're all mixed. It's a lab golden mix.
Oh, it's a lab.
And we have some doodles too. In fact, I carried a Labradoodle up to the hospital the other day. And they're hyperallergenic, which means that people that are allergic to dogs and that kind of stuff can work with a Labradoodle. And their fur feels just like a Brillo pad. Anybody remembers what a Brillo pad is? Or they call them SOS pads. Everybody knows that's what it is. But yeah, talking about some of the other things we do, I mentioned going to the hospitals and all that. We have a program called Canine Kids. And what they do is a lot of our volunteers carry the dogs into elementary schools, like when the kids are 5, 6, and 7 years old. And you might find a child that is sort of shy in terms of reading out to the group, but they'll let the dog sit by them. This sounds so simple, but it works so well. But when the dog's with them, it gives them all the confidence in the world to be able to read to their fellow classmates and so forth.
Wow.
So we go to